Hello friends, I wanted to show you how we built our Gabion retaining walls using cattle panels. This method of construction is fairly simple and inexpensive. We wanted a retaining wall that was only about 18 inches high and about 50 feet long. We had collected some second-hand cattle panels, half-inch hardware cloth, landscape cloth, and tie wire. We also collected about 5 yards of basalt rocks that we picked up out on the plains where we live. In addition to the rocks, we had collected a large pile of broken concrete from a sidewalk and chimney that we tore out. We needed to dispose of the concrete, and I figured that we could use it in the Gabion walls. Well, the first step was to dig the dirt back about 6 inches from where the retaining wall was going to be planted, and then run a string line a couple inches above the finished ground level. Then we removed the dirt to 18 inches below the string line and leveled the area where the retaining wall would be built. My friend worked one end while I worked the other. A flat shovel works best for this job. After the ground was prepared, I cut the cattle panels lengthwise into 18-inch pieces, while my friend started wiring the pieces together. I used a special blade from Home Depot called a Steel Demon. It cuts through metal like butter. Some of our cattle panels were 36 inches and some were 48 inches. So the taller ones we cut lengthwise at 24 inches, and the extra 6 inches we pushed into the ground, which helped to anchor the framework. The panels were cut into pieces to form the sides, ends, and middle braces for the framework. Tie wire was used to connect the pieces together. I recommend putting braces about 2 feet apart and using plenty of wire, because it needs to be strong enough to hold the rocks in place for many years. The framework was assembled and leveled with the string line. Each section was securely wired in place with tie wire. Once the framework was completed, half-inch hardware cloth was installed along the uphill side of the wall. This was also wired on with tie wire about every foot, top, bottom, and middle. Any seams should be overlapped about 6 inches. The landscape cloth was then installed on the uphill side and dirt added to hold the landscape cloth to the framework. We worked our way down the wall, installing the cloth and adding dirt as we went. When the landscape cloth was in place and the dirt filled in against it, we cut the landscape cloth off at the top edge of the framework. Finally, it was time to start stacking rocks. We placed larger rocks against the wire to block the holes and put our broken concrete in the middle at the bottom so it would be covered up and not be visible. We kept adding rocks carefully, like putting a puzzle together, fitting the larger rocks to block the holes and the smaller rocks in the middle and on top to conceal the broken concrete. We were able to utilize all of our broken concrete, and we ran out of rocks, so we went back and picked up some more. Once the 2 sections of retaining wall were completed, we moved the fence to the uphill side of the wall and planted some blueberries along the downhill side. The retaining wall is working out perfectly. It holds back the dirt and hasn't moved at all over the last year. Unlike a concrete wall, water doesn't collect behind it, so no French drain is needed. In our area, it freezes over 2 feet deep and can freeze and thaw many times throughout the winter, and the expansion can cause many retaining walls to fail. The Gabion wall moves up and down with the ground without any visible displacement. Over many years it may become deformed, but if it does, we should be able to straighten it back out in a few hours. Now, I can't give you the cost estimate because nearly all the materials were repurposed, and the only thing I bought for the project was a roll of tie wire. I can tell you that cattle panels sell for about $20. So if you have the time, ability, and a pile of rocks, this may be the way to go. It's worked out well for us. Anyway, we've sure enjoyed showing you how we built our Gabion wall. If you've enjoyed our video, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about future videos. We have some really great ones in the works, and there's always something to do out here on the farm. We'll see you next time. Until then, God bless.